Hey guys, we're gonna tour another flip home today. If you missed part one, go check that out. And I'm gonna show you kind of what I look for if I'm wanting to flip a house. Check out the last video. This is the same development as that one. This one is a little bit smaller, but I really like the price point. It's a little bit better. $230, I think this is more like $230 right now. So hopefully we can get a little bit closer to where we need to be. $215, $220 is what we aim for per square foot. So anyway, this one's about 1,700 square feet. It's 3 bed, 2 bath, but I think it's gonna be hopefully a good one. Don't love that. I mean, quirky, but like, I don't think it's an asset. The door is a little, something's been melted on it maybe, but the actual door itself is solid wood. And I feel like maybe with some paint, it could be cool. Like it's got kind of that mission style carved detail, throwback feel. This looks like my kind of deal. Empty, needs a lot of love. I already have a vision for it kind of thing. I honestly swear that I like empty houses better. Like, you know how most people want to see it staged? I think that for me, because I do that in my mind, it's better empty. So I'm loving that you walk in and there's like this beautiful family room with all the windows. I mean, this is unique. This is very 90s, Santa Fe style 90s. I love the ceiling detail. Let's talk about that. Like this beautiful tray ceiling, just really modern and simple. It feels, makes this, it's a small house. This is like under 1,700 square feet, but that little tray detail, I feel like kind of elevates it. And then these windows, like this is, I love it. These really pretty transom type windows above the main. And then you have a French door going out to the backyard, which actually looks, I think, better than that last one we looked at. The carpet is nasty. Of course, I look past all that stuff because I'm gonna replace it anyways. So off the entry, you can go over here. This looks like a coat closet. Yep, coat closet. This paint color is a little bit, it's got kind of a pink cast to it. I like the wall color, really neutral, but this feels like it's peachy pink. And although I like that color in general, I don't think it's great for, you know, doors. I wonder if you could just take this out. Maybe it's load bearing. Storage is good in a small house. Another like terracotta. This is one of those light fixtures that I'm like, oh, that's really funky, but I'm like, I kind of don't hate it. I don't know why. I would replace it because most people are gonna feel it, it's dated, but I don't hate it. And this one up here in the entry, kind of like a clay, I don't know, like these light fixtures are kind of cool to me. In a vintage kind of way. When you're updating a house, like I feel like you need to go more broad appeal, but I kind of like that these are artsy. So bathroom over here, this is actually a good size, pretty typical bathroom. I mean, they got real fun with this like copper, like I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like that. Like I always wish I could go back to the design meeting or the showroom, whatever, where somebody picked this out, you know, like it was a moment and they were like, I have this idea. There's worse things, but it's pretty bad. Again, really dated. This is really similar to the last one that I shared with you guys where they have this kind of tile. It does feel very 90s. So I do think we'd have to rip that out and replace it. It's gonna be a decent expense too because tile removal is not cheap. Definitely something to think about in both cases though. And I like the size of this. This tile is a little bit more in that pink rose colored zone, so I think we need to replace that. I love to just run hardwood through houses, small houses especially, but bathrooms I usually keep tile. Okay, so this bedroom isn't huge, but I think it's sufficient. It has 2 closets, which is kind of quirky. Ceiling fan, I mean, just maybe update that to a cuter one. I did find some recent ceiling fans I like, so I'm trying to be more open to those because people love ceiling fans around here. So these closets on the smaller side, but I guess, I mean, it checks the boxes and it gives you more space for the bedroom. So I don't know, you have to be kind of like flexible with small houses, I think. There's just not a lot of space. So when it's used well, you know, and this house seems to be laid out pretty efficiently, you gotta appreciate that. This room is a little, probably more like what you'd use as an office. I think I would want to stage it maybe as like an office slash guest room. So like maybe a Murphy bed, because I know someone who loves a Murphy bed. It's my husband. He's obsessed with Murphy beds. So we might consider that. There's a pool and it's really close. And we've got our neighbor heading over with his pool noodles. I like that this room, oh look, there's a broken window here. We'd have to replace that. Nothing too major. One of the things we run into is this is a retirement town, and so a lot of the homes they require 55 and older, which we're not, so rules those out for us. But what I was getting to on the bright side is that, let's see if I can fix that back. This room has really cool windows, you know, that it has sort of wraparound windows with this bump out and then the front windows, and even that one up there with those blinds up, I'm sure you get a lot of light in here, which is nice. I don't know, I really like this house. I'm not supposed to show favorites. If I was on House Hunters, you would know which house I want. It's this one. This closet's small. I mean, it does check the box for considering this a bedroom because we have the egress windows and we have a closet. But really, I think that this is more of a space that would be like a temporary bedroom sometimes and more of a, I wonder if we take that thing out above the window. You see that shelf above? I'm looking at this cracking too, like right there. I don't think this would be very hard to knock out. Might be something to do, which, I mean, more cost, more demolition, but it might open this space up even a little bit more. And also, this house has these transoms, which is one of those details that makes the house feel a little bit more custom and unique. So I kind of am liking that. These doors, I will say, hopefully if they were painted a more neutral color instead of this soft peachy pink, maybe that will be good, but like this detail, it does feel a little bit dated to me, so that's like not ideal. Coming around here, so just again off the entry, everything's really kind of right off this entry, is the primary suite. It has a little bit of privacy, you know, with the two walls there, but you know, this is pretty open. So that'd be one thing to consider. Again, though, this has that really beautiful ceiling detail, which makes me happy because it's those kinds of things that make it easier for me to make it feel like a luxurious home instead of just like really basic. And the size in here I think is pretty good. I need to measure between windows. Can we fit a king size bed? Because I would like to do a king size bed. I always like to in the primary suite just for that resort feel or, you know, nice hotel type look. I do always love the windows on either side. We just kind of end up with nightstands in front of those usually. And the closet will be a little bit tricky because, you know, if I have a nightstand here, it might hit into it, but the closet's a decent size actually. What's this? Whenever I see stuff like this, I get like freaked out. Like, you know, what is this? What is that? It smells kind of weird in here. I don't like the closet. I was getting a creepy vibe in the closet, but everything else is great. This is kind of a monstrosity, like this whole, you know, we run into these all the time. It's like literally in the 90s, it was like they were trying to use as much tile as possible and take up as much space as they could to make a tub like pedestal. Like, I guess it was posh, you know, it was like a spa feel. Where do we turn on the water?
No, it's like twisted, like it's not straight.
I know, that's what's so crazy. That's what I'm saying. It's literally like this weird, and this is what's weird about this house too. Like, look, see this here? Like, there's some type of like water or something. Is that coming in from outside? We need to, if we buy something like this, we need to for sure get an inspection. That last house was more clean for sure. Like you weren't having the, what's that type of moments, but at the same time, there's things I really like about this one. So this door, this goes outside, it looks like. So I want to allow that light in and maybe do a door with frosted glass in it. So you still have privacy, but you can get some of that daylight coming in. Cause I think that, like, look how much this changes the bathroom, having a little bit of that light coming in. It feels really kind of confined in here and a little bit, I mean, definitely dated, but this goes out to the patio and it'd be nice to have it not feel so closed in here. Cause I'm thinking, what's the point of having that door? I'd either rather make the shower bigger and just take that door out, or if we're gonna have the door, make it be more of like a feature for the space. A lot to think about here. The size is decent. It has the double doors. This feels luxurious, I think, having the two doors open up. So also the carpet in here is kind of a weird thing that happened back in the day. Nobody puts carpet in bathrooms anymore. It's super gross. You can see that it looks super gross over there because whatever water that looked like on the carpet there, if this were tile, that'd be no big deal, you know, clean right up. So that's why we do tile in bathrooms. But like, they only use tile. That's it. I figured it out. People weren't putting tile on the floor, so they had to come up with these kinds of like monstrosities to actually sell tile. So that's what happened. The whole thing, the whole 90s thing, there's just so much weirdness. But I can make it good. I think it's enough space. And they do have a separate toilet room. So this is one of those details that, like, right now it looks dated, but I think that we can open it up a little bit and do one of my like signature, it's becoming a signature thing, right? To do one of those little hallway shelves. Like I did in my house. We're doing it in the current flip house where, you know, we'll open this up and put just floating type wood shelves in there, and it will be awesome. So that's kind of my plan for this. It'll feel custom and cute. They do have this built-in area over here too in this living room. We kind of popped in here for a second, but what's funky about it is that these are glass, an accent light, and then these over here are just MDF. So I think that that needs to be evened out so that we have a little more symmetry, and maybe I'll bring in those same wood shelves that I'm doing for that little cutout place so that we have, you know, a little bit of color. This arch detail, you know, maybe we can modern it up a little bit and just make it like a full radius arch, which is like a true arch instead of this one that has the corners, you know, here, you know, cut so that it's more just like a true smooth arch, because that feels a little bit more current. This wall, I don't think this is structural because it only really connects here and there. So I'm imagining taking the wall out from here all the way over here, and this one too. And so we have one big room, and then this would be still dining space. Run a, you know, a wood floor all the way through this so that everything is nice and cohesive. And then it will allow us to make the island bigger. Look, this has that amazing copper edge detail. Yeah, so if this wall's gone, we can update this whole kitchen. I want to take this out, I think, right here, because that's just lighting. So there's only electrical in there, it looks like, because the ductwork seems to be in the ceiling. So luckily I don't think they put ductwork in there. But if we can take this out, it's going to open up, you know, and let us have the ceiling space, which I always want, the higher ceiling. The cabinets, it's like, I want to say there's something salvageable, but I honestly feel like these are pretty weathered and just kind of a cheaper cabinet to begin with. And we really want this house to feel, you can kind of see, and I will say this house isn't as dirty as some we've seen and purchased. I feel like it's kind of like, it just needs a fresh new look, but I'm not like disgusted by it or anything, so that's comforting. I kind of think we could extend the kitchen over a little bit, like, because that dining, you know, we can fit a dining table and chairs with still having a little bit more, get a little bit more kitchen with that. With the bigger island, we can get a little more seating. And then we'll just have a dining table there, maybe something round so it's not taking a ton of, anyways, I'm already designing this house. That phone is amazing. I think we should talk about how that is still on the wall. There's not a ringtone.
Or a dial tone.
That's what it's called. So laundry room, yeah. Unfortunately, the pantry's over here. This isn't ideal in the layout. Like I wish we could tuck the like washer and dryer in here and use this as pantry, like a nice butler's pantry. But that would require moving all of this. You know, I think that that's probably too much of an expense. You know, what would be rough is that we have to dig out the concrete. We're gonna have to pull up the tile anyways, but it's expensive to cut into the concrete like I was talking about in that last video. That's probably too expensive, but it would be nice to just tuck a stacked washer and dryer in there and have this as more functional space. Garage is out here. Looks to be nice and clean actually. And look at all this storage. This looks to be original. But I mean, it's, yeah, like I've seen worse, so it's a basic garage. I don't know, I'm liking this one, big fan. All right, so we're gonna step out here. This is nice, the French door is going out here. And looks like they painted this red. I think that looks terrible. So I would definitely paint this a more neutral color and make it, you know, this would be a fun one to style and set up kind of some outdoor living. They have a couple fans that we could replace, get this looking a little bit fresher out here. This whole area out here, so the grass is dead, we'll have to deal with all that. So there'd be some expense in landscaping. But look at this like little secret garden back here. I think we could open up this little walkway a little bit more and maybe, oh, I hope they leave me that pot. I like that pot. It's like an artifact. I could totally picture taking out, you know, a little bit of this area, maybe over, like tucking in a couple like seating areas like in the secret garden. I kind of like it. I think the backyard's fantastic. The road back there is busy, so that might be a deterrent. Not busy, but it's like a road where cars do travel, so you don't have like the quiet serene that some people are seeking. Maybe I could get a water feature. Sometimes there's just a house that you really love, and I kind of want this one, so we'll see what happens. It's $395,000, this one, for $1,696, I think, square feet, just under $1,700. 3 bedroom, 2 bath in this, so it's a little smaller than that last one. And that 1 bedroom is almost more like an office, so that's maybe a little bit of a challenge, but I'm loving it. I love the feel of it. I love the windows and the overall layout, and just even the outside of it's kind of cute to me. It feels like a little cottage. So we'll see.
If we could get it for $375.
I hate when I do this because I don't ever like to be emotional about buying a house. Like where I'm like, I gotta have it, you know. We try to just keep that out. Just numbers, hard numbers. It's a cute house. So this is what I look for in a flip. I mean, if we're talking about what to look for, what we look for, this one has it. Good layout, basic, good bones, and basically the details that give it a little bit extra, which are, you know, all that natural light, the ceilings that I like, the tray ceilings, the space that we need, and the transoms. All of those little details come into play for that. So big fan. If you guys haven't seen the last video, be sure to go check that one out. It's the other one that we were looking at in this area. I'd be curious what you guys, you know, if you were looking for a home, specifically like a vacation home is kind of what a lot of these end up being. Let me know what you look for. I'd be curious to know which house you like better. Subscribe, hit that bell to be notified when our next video is live, and give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.